Pete, and welcome to Just a Few Acres Farm. Real simple video today. I'm going to go out and mow a 5-acre field with my Farmall H and my International 120 sickle bar mower, and I'm going to tell a few stories while I do it. It's still hot. Well, it's a nice day, good day to mow. Sickle bar mowers are one of those things that time has passed by, it seems. But I sure do enjoy mowing with a well-tuned mower. First thing to fix is I got a bad ledger plate here that needs to be replaced. This end ledger plate is actually attached to the mower itself, this end, rather than one of the rock guards. Makes it a little more difficult. Here's something out of the past, at least 40 years old. Got the original part number on it. Box of ledger plates. My dealer drug them out from a shelf way in back years ago when I was looking for some. I modified one of them with a second hole because this end one is kind of an oddball. Ground down some sickle bar bolts to fit. It's easier for me than riveting. And these bolt up from the bottom with these lock nuts. Then I take a flattened chisel and peen them over so that the blades won't catch them, the knife sections. This end's got a couple of broken bolts, so we'll take care of that. I got it. These are special sickle bar section bolts. They've got these ribs on them so they grab tight and no wiggle. Just like when you pound a rivet, it grabs tight. I prefer these to rivets. Here's what they look like from underneath. They slide without hitting anything. My bar's all clogged up because I mowed the winter pasture and it was a little muddy. It'll clean off in the grass. Alrighty then, let's go mow. This is the middle field, 5 acres of tractor therapy. Die, thistles. Whoops. Don't die fence posts. First off, why am I cutting this pasture? Well, all of our fields get cut at least once a year, either for hay or clipping a pasture like this, with two goals. The first is to stimulate regrowth of the plants for the fall grazing season, and the second is to help keep the weeds down. I've found it benefits the pastures greatly. I prefer using a sickle bar mower, even though it's old technology, because it lays the grass down right in place. It doesn't create any kind of a windrow or bunch of grass, and it's soothing. Running the sickle bar is enjoyable. What a beautiful day to mow. Oh, yeah. Died this old. Uh-oh. Clog. One-handed. Swallows are here. What are you guys looking at? Splitting the field in half for less headland travel. Except my swath isn't as straight as it would be because I'm screwed around with the cameras. When we planted our pastures and hay fields 12 years ago, there was a place in business about 20 minutes from us called Reed Seeds. And it was like a trip back in time. I remember going there, and you would go into an old house that was the office, and behind a counter with an older gentleman at the counter was a big card catalog like you would have seen in a library years ago. And in that card catalog was all of the customers on little 3x5 cards with their prior seed purchases and their tax-exempt status. So once you figured out your seed mix on your first order, he could pull out your seed mix. The mix was a little printout that was stuck to the 3x5 card. I went in there, and he knew everything about pasture seeds, what worked best in our type of soil and in this region and for the use, which was both hay and grazing. And we came up with a blend that worked for me. And then after I was done in the office, you would walk across the driveway to an old, of course, red barn that had a big cyclone looking thing in it, a huge drum on top of a cone with a blower on the bottom and a ladder on the side, and a man would come and pour the different seeds of your mixture in the right percentages, weighed out, into the top of it and start it up, and the seeds would all whirl around inside of this machine and mix together. And then when he was done, he would open up a door on the bottom of the cone at the bottom of the machine, pour the seeds into 50-pound bags and zip them up with one of those little machines that makes the string into the top of the bag to seal up the bag. Now that place is gone, like so many other memorable places of small agriculture these days, and my options are to go either to a place like Tractor Supply and buy a premix, or to the local agricultural chemical place and again buy a bag that I don't know is how old and is kind of a standard mix, and the experience is nothing like it used to be, unfortunately. After this pass, I'll have a third unmowed, a third mowed, and a third unmowed over there, so I could start going around this way instead of in the middle. Thinking, give a man a match and he'll be warm for a few hours, but if you light him on fire, he'll be warm for the rest of his life. Yep. That's twisted. I like dark humor like that. My relief is here. Thanks, Hill.
I caught another squirrel.
Really?
I did.
When it came time to plant the seeds that I bought from Reed Seeds, I didn't have much at my disposal. The fields were worked up. I'd worked them up with our old drag, and they were ready to plant off of soybean stubble that was there before. And I had the H and I had the Super C tractors, and so I went down the road and borrowed a broadcast spreader from a neighbor that went onto a 3-point hitch that I'd made up for the Super C. Poured the seed in the back and went in a checkerboard pattern across the fields with a broadcast spreader to get even coverage. And then after that, I had to figure out a way to work the seed into the soil a little bit. So I attached a 16-foot long 2x4 to the back of the H, sort of crossways across the drawbar, and bolted on. And then on each end of the 2x4, I fixed chain, a long chain which trailed in a big loop behind the tractor. And I went over the fields with that, so I was dragging the chain crossways across the soil to work the seeds in a little bit. And that first year I remember thinking, boy, I really failed at this, because the first thing that came up was all the weeds. It looked like a fallow field, and I thought none of the seeds sprouted. And so I went out with the sickle bar mower and I mowed it. And then I waited, and the next time, well, there was a little bit coming up of the stuff that I planted, so, and lots of weeds again, so I mowed it again the second time. And by the third time, I could really see the stuff coming up, and by now fall was approaching. I had planted in the spring, so I mowed it a third time. And then that fall, I had one of the local agricultural companies come and spread 2 tons of lime after doing soil tests. The pH was about 5.5. It was pretty acid. Spread 2 tons of lime per acre on the fields that I had planted and let it sit for the winter. And the next spring, the fields were beautiful. The weeds were gone, and everything that I'd planted sprouted up in such a beautiful sight to see, and the hay volume was just incredible those first 3 years from all of the new planting.
Sky looks like it might rain tonight. That would be perfect. The swallows are really flying around now. I love them.
right, let's finish this. It's getting late. All right, it's time to be done with this. There. Done. What a great day. I got to spend it working on my favorite tractor and working with my favorite tractor. She's still going strong at 84 years old, my old Farmall H. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great day just like I did, and I'll see you next time.